So thanks everyone for joining us to our Annotate This. We're going to be exploring our latest product releases and roadmap. So I'm Sonia Visser. I'm head of sales here at Hypothesis. And joining me today is Jessica George, one of our customer success managers. We're really excited to be sharing information today on Hypothesis and some of our product releases. So we're going to, today we go over the introductions. We're going to talk about our product themes for 2025. We'll go through some of our resources for our partners. And then for those of you that are not partners yet, we have some different promotions and opportunities for you all to become partners with us. And then at the end, we'll answer any questions you may have. So we'll save a few minutes at the end for that as well. Looking into 2025, we're a couple months in, and our themes for this year really revolve around these four topics. We're looking at better app engagement. How can we engage with the faculty and students, expanding our content coverage, looking at different data and tools for faculty, and then new ways to access Hypothesis at your institution. Within that better app engagement, we're going to be really deep diving into our new at mentions and notifications. Looking at our content coverage, we're going to be reviewing image annotations that will be coming out soon. Within our data tools, looking at our LMS dashboard and our auto training, and then finally looking at those new access options. So as opposed to just having an institutional pay model, we're now looking at ways that your students can be able to access us with first day or purchasing in the bookstore, and we'll go through that. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Jessica, who will give us a demo and a deep dive into our new releases.
So the first theme that I'm going to discuss a little bit about is our theme about better in-app engagement. So we have been thinking about how to pull students back into annotation discussions. And one of the new features that we have rolling out soon, and this will be in March, is our new at mention feature, which is going to make it easier for users to tag each other in annotations, let other peers and instructors know that they've replied to a threaded discussion, really encouraging meaningful interactions, drawing students back into the course material, but also those conversations with the rest of the class. So this feature was developed from some feedback from faculty and instructional designers, really having to do with I want annotation data for my assignments and courses, but also sustained engagement over the course of the time an assignment is open for annotation. So let's take a look at what this is going to look like. And so what you see on your screen here in the right-hand side of the slide is a preview of what this at mention feature is going to look like. So you can see we have our threaded discussion and conversations happening. And when this at mentions feature is rolled out, students will be able to tag each other and their instructor and also receive a notification that that at mention activity has happened. So there's three aspects of this feature that I really want to highlight. So users will be able to tag individuals in annotations to share insights, ask questions, spark discussions, that all of that is going to be supported by this new feature. And we find that in talking with faculty and what students have told them is this at mentions feature that students are used to in, for instance, social media platforms is really what drives interaction and what motivates students and users to return back to these ongoing conversations. So this is not only important because of the ongoing analysis and conversation that it will support, but also it's going to keep students returning to your readings and your texts, which is the most important part of all of this. So, this is going to feel familiar. And it will be a very similar kind of experience that students have with other social media platforms that they're used to. So this is going to feel familiar to them, low barrier to adoption of this particular app mentions feature. And we're really hopeful and excited about this feature being something that students and faculty find really helpful to sustaining those conversations. So we're really happy and excited about this one. And again, this will be released at the end of March. So you can look forward to some communication from the Hypothesis team about this new feature once we've unrolled it or rolled it out in your LMS. So let me say a few more things. Um, so a couple other just quick notes. Students, again, will receive a little notification that someone has tagged them. And this is also going to make it easier for you as an instructor to reply and participate in conversations. So right now, as an instructor, you can receive an email digest that gives you kind of a bird's eye view of the activity that's happening in assignments in your course, but this is just another way to stay in the loop for in the kinds of conversations that your students are participating in those assignments. And I'm just going to drop into Q&A to see if there's any questions, and not yet. So perfect. And if you do have any questions, feel free to drop those into the Q&A and I can try to address those as we continue the presentation here. And Scott's question, will there be a way to receive mobile notifications? Not at this time, though we are also working on external notifications. So there's going to be different stages of this feature rollout, and perhaps our support team on the back end can further answer this in the Q&A. But if, um, and then Scott, I think that we've been emailing, so we can also talk one-on-one about the rollout for the app mentions feature. Thanks for that question. So the second theme that I want to talk about is expanded content coverage. So as the users here already know, you can currently annotate over a wide variety of file types, including PDFs, website URLs, YouTube, Canvas Studio. We have a wide variety of content that you can have students annotate. Um, but we are constantly looking to expand our content coverage. And some of the feedback that we've received is I want the ability to annotate images. And this can be really helpful for art historians, other types of historians using primary source documents, but also STEM instructors who teach with infographics, diagrams, and so on. So to that end, we will be rolling out image annotations later this year, and this will allow instructors to incorporate additional types of content into their courses. So when we rolled out YouTube video transcripts and Canvas Studio video transcripts, that was really a game changer in the ability to make use of multimodal instructional content. So this is going to add to that capacity. Um, and you'll be able to annotate over historical documents as well. And I also want to note that this will be helpful for those historical documents that can be difficult to OCR. So there will be some support for those documents that have that additional barrier there. So we're looking forward to this feature rolling out, and that will be later this year. But if you have any questions or if you um, have specific interest about the kinds of image and file types that you're interested in annotating, feel free to reach out to the success team um, and we can talk more. The third theme that I want to transition to is data and tools for faculty. So we know that faculty really want clear insights into student engagement. How many annotations are students making? What sorts of readings seem to be really engaging students? And one way to measure that is the number of annotations that students are making on those files and so on. So one of our new features that we rolled out actually last August was our LMS dashboard, which provides real-time data on how students are interacting with the assignments, helping instructors, sorry, track participation, identify trends and interest in readings, and so on. So one of the benefits to this tool is that instructors can now have a kind of bird's eye view of the number of top level annotations and replies that students are making on a particular assignment. And I'm actually going to demo this tool shortly. Um, but just as a reminder for those of you who might not be aware of this tool, you can access it through the person icon by opening up any assignment and then selecting Open Dashboard. So I am actually going to go ahead and load my own demo environment here. And so I just want to show you how to get there. And then I'll be talking a little bit more about auto grading as well. So to access your instructor dashboard, you will launch any assignment and you will navigate to the top right-hand side of your screen and then select Open Dashboard. And this is going to give you, again, a bird's eye view of the students in your course, the number of top level annotations, replies, and last annotation activity that they have made on the assignment. So if maybe a year ago when you were working with Hypothesis, you spent a little too much time tallying the number of annotations and replies that students were making. Now you have a tool that is doing that for you. And this instructor dashboard actually works alongside our auto grading, our participation auto grading tool. And I am going to say a little bit more about this in a second here. Um, so just as a quick view, and I'll jump back into my demo. So auto participation grading is a new feature that we rolled out in December. And this tool can be really helpful for those of you who are especially teaching those really large classes where you're trying to incentivize student engagement with their reading, but maybe it's not practical for you to um, go through and reply to every single student's annotation. Maybe you're not even able to go in every week and take a look at what students are doing, or maybe you have a team of TAs assisting you, whatever it might be. But you still want to incentivize student reading and student engagement with the text that you're assigning. If this is the case, and there are other use cases for this as well, but if you're teaching those larger classes, participation auto grading can be a great feature to enable. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to allow you to set a threshold. Um, so for instance, in our case here, we see that the instructor has set a threshold of 2 top level annotations and 2 replies, or 1 reply that they want their students to be making. The graded grade will appear here in the instructor dashboard, and then there's a button that you will press to push this out to your LMS. Um, So, a great way to support participation and reading, especially in those larger classes. I am going to quickly show you how to set this up. Um, and and then I will go back to our slides here. But I'm in Canvas. However, this functions the same in any LMS. So I'm just going to get to our file picker page, which everyone is used to seeing. Um, so once you've selected your particular file that you are wanting to assign to students, you will now see an option for auto grading in the page or the window that appears next. So I will select this. Um, I can select partial or all or nothing grading, and then I can also determine the number of top level annotations and replies that I want my students to be making. So it's as simple as this. Once I've made my decision, I'll just press continue and then continue on with my assignment setup. Um, and once your assignment has been saved and is available to students to annotate, at any time you can go into your instructor dashboard, see the activity type. Once the assignment has closed or the due date has passed, you can then press sync and the assignment will sync those grades to your LMS gradebook. So again, if you have any questions about the logistics of participation auto grading, feel free to drop those into our Q&A and I will try to answer questions about those as we move along in this session. But I will go ahead and pass the slides back to Sonia at this time, and she'll be discussing new access options.
Great. Thank you so much, Jessica. So for many of you who are our partners, your institution purchases Hypothesis for everyone to use, whether it's in your entire institution, department, college, etc. We now have the ability to provide inclusive access. If your school has Follett as their bookstore, or you may not know, behind the scenes, Vital Source is a distributor within your bookstore. Both of those cases, we now have the ability to allow students to be able to purchase, to put this in through inclusive access, which just allows them to be able to have all of their content, Hypothesis, textbooks, etc., right there, ready to go on the first day of school. Next slide. And so with this, a student license, as I mentioned, can be purchased through your bookstore. You would go to where you would choose those options. We would work with the bookstore, provide that ISBN. Students would then purchase that license, or it would be part of their inclusive access, and they would be able to use any type of content. So you do not have to specifically be using any type of textbook. You could still be using your OER content, URLs, JSTOR, all of the content that Jessica had mentioned earlier, that all can be used with this access. So.
Sonia, I'm just replying to
Oh,
some of the Q&A. So, Sonia, do you know off the top of your head if the auto grading needs a new LTI configuration if you're on 1.1?
um, I think you might need to be on 1.3, but we may need to get back to them on that, Jessica.
Okay. So I just dropped our support email in response to the person that asked that question. If you're on 1.3, you should be fine. If you're on 1.1, you may need to contact our support team. So, and that's at support.hypothesis.is. So do send us an email and we can double check that for you. Um, and Lydia, that's a great suggestion. I will forward that on to the product team about being able to filter by read and unread. We don't have that feature currently, but that's a great idea. So thank you for sharing that. And Julie, we don't currently have that peer review capacity for students to upload their own files. And part of that is because Canvas and other LMSs, for instance, if you're creating an assignment, the instructor needs those permissions. But we are working on some alternatives for collaboration. So thank you for sharing that feedback. And
I can take the other
yeah,
two.
yeah, go ahead.
Student license replacing. So no, this is, if you already have a partnership with us, you are good to go. This is just for those folks that don't have partnerships with us and are looking for an alternative if their institution doesn't have that funding. And Bo, I can get you that list. I know you, we're actually, been talking to Bernie today, and I know we're going to be discussing, and he's having a meeting with you. So we can get that information to you as well, Bo. So thank you.
Great. So thank you for those great questions. And I'm gonna just go ahead and transition back into my demo really quickly. So for those of you, before I continue on with our resources slides, so for those of you who are new to the tool, because we didn't spend a ton of time on this is just a quick view of what Hypothesis might look like when your students launch an assignment. So in this case, it is a OER calculus chapter that has been loaded into the tool. And then you can see these sample students are having a threaded discussion over the text. So the idea here is that students are having discussions about their readings directly on top of the readings, and they can make annotations by selecting text, selecting annotate, and then making an annotation from there. Um, so this is the window that pops up. So if you would like to know more about the tool itself, we actually have several workshops coming up on Thursdays in March, and then we have a traditional kind of intro workshop in the first week of April. And we'll also be doing an annotate your syllabus session in April. So I'll say more about that in a couple of slides here, but I just wanted to give a shout out to those new users who might be on this call and wanting a little bit more of what this looks like in practice. All right, so I'm going to transition into our next set of slides.
Yes,
Um,
we do have one question about image annotation. Can students annotate images shared by other students? And this is similar to that same sort of peer review question that was earlier, because of how, access to learning management system works. It would be faculty that would need to be creating the assignments, et cetera. So we don't have that capability as of right now.
and I will say that if you are a Canvas user, students can collaborate on Canvas pages. So there is the ability to annotate Canvas pages, and students can be co-collaborators on that kind of a document. So that could be an alternative if you are a Canvas user and are looking for students to be able to annotate over things that their peers are sharing in class. So I want to say a little bit more about some upcoming events that we have. The first is our wonderful Annotate Ed conference, which is happening on April 9th and 10th from 12 to 3 p.m. on Eastern time. So do check out our website and register. It's completely free and a great opportunity to get some more ideas about the kinds of annotation assignments that you might build into your class and hear from other faculty who are using Hypothesis in their classrooms. And I think there was, oh, and our team is dropping our registration to Annotate Ed into the webinar chat. So do feel free to check that out and register from there. And then as I mentioned before, we also have many partner workshops. These are also free coming up in March and April. So our March Learning Labs are designed around a particular topic in higher ed, for instance, universal design for learning, open pedagogy, social annotation in the age of AI. So feel free to jump into any of those. And those learning labs always do a short little demo of Hypothesis and how you might set up an assignment. So feel free to check those out. And then our April Quick Start series is really thinking about getting you started for the summer. So if you haven't attended one of those and don't use Hypothesis but are interested in adopting it for summer or fall, these Quick Start series are a great opportunity to kind of get to know the tool from a more basic perspective. So feel free to register for any of those workshops today. And then we also have our ongoing Hypothesis Academy, which again is free to our partner users, an opportunity to practice using the tools, but also collaborate with other faculty from around North America mostly, and talk about social annotation and how it relates to concepts around student voice, AI use, that kind of thing. I will hand it back to Sonia.
Great. Yeah, thank you. So I just wanted to do just a quick update. Someone had asked the question about can auto grading and our participatory grading be in 1.1 and 1.3, and we just got confirmation from our support team that yes, it is available in 1.1 and 1.3. So just wanted to give everyone that update. So earlier I talked about new options where we can be included in inclusive access and first day, as well as the students being able to purchase. But we also have, as a majority of our partnerships are institutional pay, enterprise deals, where the school is paying for any subset of users, unlimited access, that sort of thing. So we have different options, different tiering options for those folks that are interested in being able to purchase for their institution. And you can see here, we've got different levels. That's basically based on how many users you're looking to start with, and the gold being, really having access to everything. Silver is really our most popular, where you will have access to, some of the partnerships and the workshops that we offer. And then bronze is, just sort of just allowing for one sort of self-support, and we do have partnership workshops, not customized. So so these are options. They're on our website as well. If you could go to the next slide, Jessica. We also have a Kickstart promotion that will really get you started for the fall. It's discounted pricing. You can start using Hypothesis immediately. You'll have Hypothesis Academy, no cost for any implementation. And again, those free workshops. This is our general website, Education at Hypothesis. But if you go to the next slide, your best bet is really to reach out to Bernie Cotter. He is our account executive. Please go ahead and use that QR code. He can work with you to really come up with the best option for you for what your institution's looking for, and to really get you started as soon as possible, so you can try it out even this spring into the summer, and then you're really ready to go for the beginning of the academic year next fall. So please reach out to Bernie. And then the last thing I want to share is we have a partnership with JSTOR. That is one of the types of content that you can enable Hypothesis with as an assignment. And so we welcome you to please, again, scan this QR code. This really allows you to sign up for their newsletter. Within the newsletter, you're going to get teaching resources. You're going to, they have different events and webinars that they also host. So the newsletter will share that information. But again, it's another really a great newsletter to get information that can really help you in teaching and learning different things. So please sign up for that newsletter as well. And we wanted to leave some time for some questions. So please, are there any other questions that anyone has? You can put those in our Q&A, and we can answer those. Anything at all? I will take a sip of water while people are typing and see if any questions come up. All right. No questions. Oh, wait, right as I said that.
Really, that's a good question. So for auto grading, uh, it isn't there isn't an AI integration with it, and there is no kind of element where it's evaluating for quality. That is still really the instructor's kind of prerogative to be jumping into discussion and kind of reviewing things. And to that end, we do not recommend it as an kind of a way of fulfilling regular and substantive interaction because those substantive interactions need to come from the instructor. So the idea here is that you have those kinds of regular and substantive interactions elsewhere incorporated into your course, and participation auto grading is really supporting, getting students to the text and making those engagements. But as far as comment quality and, are they achieving the things that you laid out in your assignment instructions, for instance, that would still be up to the instructor to determine, or your TA if you have a TA or team of TAs helping you. Oh, okay, let's. Um, yes, I will contact you. I will since we've been working closely. So I will double check that for you. Chris, that's a good question about ADA compliance and image annotation. And I will get back to you and forward that question to the product team. I know that they are taking careful consideration for accessibility, and we do have a page on our website that covers the processes for screen readers and so on. I don't have specific information about how that's going to work with image annotation because it's currently still in development. But if you want to send a message to our um, actually, you could send email to me at jessica.george@hypothesis.is. I can forward that request on. And is there a way to create groups in Hypothesis in Canvas without using Canvas groups? So the tool leans on your LMS's structure. So for creating small reading groups in Hypothesis, if you are a Canvas user, for instance, you'll create those groups in Canvas and then pull them into the assignment setup when you're setting up a Hypothesis group. The only alternative I could think of is if you have Hypothesis Canvas sections integration enabled, but that's very school specific. So Eric, if you wanted to send a message to success@hypothesis.is, I can take a look at that and provide you with some more school specific information. Other,
Yeah, I just want to reply. Jess, you had asked about what type of access you had. I can email you that information. I do. I do have your email, so I can get back to you on that. So
great. Okay, well, I will go ahead and wrap things up and feel free to reach out to us and we can answer any questions that might come up after the session. So thank you so much for being here. I will stop sharing at this time and do let us know if you have any questions.
thank you, everyone.
And Leah, will the syllabus annotation session be recorded? Yeah. So if you're interested in any of the hypothesis partner workshops, the March and April ones, but you can't make it, do register and we will send the recording afterwards, even if you weren't able to make it. Okay. Thanks, everyone.